Hi, this is Holly. In this video, I'll be showing you how I made an ombre soap using Himalayan Rhubarb Infused Olive Oil and a pink grapefruit blend of essential oils. If you're interested in the recipe, you'll find it at the end of this video where I enter it into a soap calculator, and all of the other information and details will be listed in the description box below. To create my oil infusions, I add the dry botanical and oil to a clean jar, then place it in hot water for 2 to 3 hours. I allow the jar to cool completely in the water before removing it, and then let it sit for a day or two while all the botanical powder settles to the bottom of the jar. I've posted several videos with more specifics on creating oil infusions, and I'll be sure to list those below. For the vibrant red I achieved in this video, my infusion was made with 1 tablespoon per 100 grams of olive oil. If you'd like a lighter color, 1 teaspoon per 100 grams of oil makes a beautiful salmon pink color. Since I was coloring half the soap with rhubarb oil by doing an oil substitution, I divided my recipe into 2 equal parts, and just to keep things simple, I also divided the water and sodium hydroxide and mixed them separately as well. Since the lye is the same for both halves, you could mix them together and then equally divide it later. I just preferred to do it this way. I just wanted to quickly mention that soap making involves the use of sodium hydroxide or lye, which can burn your skin and permanently damage your eyes. So be sure to learn and practice lye-safe handling procedures during the entire soap making process. You can check out the description box below for links to beginner soap making and lye safety. To create this ombre soap, I divided my recipe into 2 equal parts, 1/2 using Himalayan Rhubarb Infused Olive Oil to replace 50% of the recipe oils, and the other half using the regular recipe oils. Since my recipe contains 50% olive oil, I replaced all of it in this half with the rhubarb oil. I actually had some infused rhubarb oil left over from my last soap, so I decided to use it up and create this ombre. The infused oil should last as long as the shelf life of the oil itself. This recipe can take a while to reach even a light trace, and although I think I did overblend a bit, the soap remained fluid until almost the very end. It's a great recipe for a soap like this, but it can sometimes give me a false trace if I soap below 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Thankfully that didn't happen here, but if you do try this recipe and experience a grainy looking thick texture early on in the blending process, just keep stirring and blending until the raw soap looks smooth again. When I added the white soap to the red, I counted to 3 each time and tried to keep the pour consistent. I did oven process the soap to help it go through a complete gel phase, which allows me to unmold it sooner and makes the colors appear more vibrant. I was able to remove the soap from the oven the next morning and cut it that afternoon. Since red from rhubarb gets more intense with time, I waited a few days to take the final photos. Since this is a cold process soap, I left the top of lye set to sodium hydroxide, or NaOH. My recipe oil weight was 1,300 grams. My lye concentration was set to 35%, which means my lye solution consisted of 35% sodium hydroxide and 65% distilled water. I set the superfat to 6%, and my fragrance usage rate was 50 grams per kilogram. This blend was comprised mostly of grapefruit essential oil, which in my experience tends to fade quicker in soap than other essential oils, so I used a bit more than my usual 40 grams per kilogram, but you can set it lower if you prefer. This recipe does contain lard, so I'll add a lard-free recipe I really like following this one. Once you have everything entered, you just select to calculate the recipe, then to view or print it. SoapCalc will give you a really nice listing of all of your ingredients, including the amount of sodium hydroxide required to saponify your oils. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found something useful here to help you in your soap making.